My name's Ely Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you meet cool people. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you're having an awesome week. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do another solo episode, but I want to talk about today's topic being integrity, because integrity actually looks like several different things. And a lot of times we don't think about that in all the different arenas. And obviously, there's what I'm going to talk about today. But the first thing is obvious. The most obvious one is the integrity with your products and your services, your word. Do what you say you're going to do. If you're selling whatever products and services you have, you're going to give it the best experience you can with people. You're going to provide them with what you say you're going to provide them with, all that kind of stuff, because people hire you for your expertise. And so when it comes to that, there's a lot of things that you need to do to keep in mind in order to create that integrity in your image and the image that you have as a reputable person, as somebody who's true to their word, as a person who might even go above and beyond. For me, I'm always showcasing what I can do. There's a phrase that I've repeated this multiple times, a phrase I learned years and years and years ago from a marketer by the name of Frank Kern. And this was the best way you can show people how you can help them is by helping them. And so I always try to do that because it shows people that I know what I'm doing, that I'm actually good at what I do, and that I want to help them because they could literally take that thing and run with it and go get results. And hopefully they'll be like, hey, that was awesome. How can I work with you? But you need to be also not just over delivering and providing the service that you say you're going to, but when you're done, you need to collect testimonials from your clients. And, I've had a really good thing. This week, I've had 3 testimonials from clients, which is pretty awesome just in 1 week. And it's because I really do what I can to provide the best ability that I can for the people that I work with. And so that's been amazing. And when you do that right, you get raving fans. You get people who will start talking to you and they're like, hey, you know what? I think you should talk to my buddy Eli. He might be able to help you with this problem that you got. That is all done by having integrity, by doing what you say you're going to do, providing the best service you possibly can, and staying in front of people. And that's where the most important stuff is. And along with that comes education. And education is a really big piece of showcasing your integrity. And it's not something that people always think about because as another experience, what does integrity look like when things go sideways? Because this is where things get complicated. If things go sideways, you have a client who's not happy. First and foremost, you should try to make it right. Now, there's a couple things with that though. Is something wrong with it because you made a mistake or because your product, your service was subpar? Obviously, that's something you should fix. Absolutely. But sometimes that's not always the case. And so that we have to switch things up a little bit. Maybe a client comes back to you and they're arguing about something because it wasn't the way they thought it was going to be. Your job to stick within your integrity is to educate them whenever needed. Educate them why you did something a specific way. It could be like, as an example, I just had a conversation with a client and we changed some of the copy and the stuff that we said. And there was one line. I'm like, we can change this, but it is here for this reason. We do it this way on purpose. And once I explained that, they were totally cool with it. They were like, okay, awesome. They understood. I mean, that's why they hired me. They hired me for my expertise. So even though they came to me thinking they needed to change it and they weren't as happy with it right at first, they got it once I educated them. And sometimes that fixes the problem. That's still sticking within your integrity. You have to remind them why they hired you to begin with and educate them in a conversational way, in a teaching way, not a degrading way. That's one of the things that does drive me nuts. I had somebody one time where they came back to me and I was disagreeing with them, and it was disagreeing with them because they were flat wrong. Like, there wasn't even an opinion thing. It was like a flat wrong situation. They came back to me as like, well, in my expert opinion, or in my expertise, I would say blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, your expertise is full of crap because 100% you are wrong. It wasn't an opinion, it was a fact. So you don't want to do that. Which what you want to do is you want to go through and it's like, okay, so this is like in a situation, like, hey, we do it this way for a reason. This is why. Explain it to them so they understand. Because then when they understand, a couple of things can happen. Number one is then they're like, oh, that makes more sense. And then the issue is gone. And then sometimes they're still going to stick to their guns with it. And this is where the other side of integrity comes in. You need to also stay integrity with yourself. And this is the part so many people drop the ball on. You have to stand by your product. If you know you did the best you could do and you followed everything that you should be doing, stand by your product. Don't cower down to somebody. Because I've seen this too many times where somebody comes back and the client does something that is just unreasonable and they won't listen to reason. And no matter what you try, they're unhappy with it and they want it done again or whatever. You can't cower down because that takes you out of integrity. If you know your product was done right, stand by that product. And that's where sometimes you need to know when to walk away. And that's okay too. The key is to stop and look at the situation objectively and look at this as like, okay, did I make a mistake? Was I unclear in my conversation? Did I not ask the right questions of the client? There's things like that because we make mistakes. We're human. Yeah. Ask yourself this and objectively look at this. You have to pull your emotions out of this. Were you in the up and up to begin with? And if not, correct the problem. That's on you. But on the flip side, if you were, like, if you did everything you should do and you educated them and you at least tried to educate them and they wouldn't listen to you, or, everything was done exactly the way it was supposed to be and they weren't happy on anyway, sometimes you have to just walk away. And that's you keeping integrity with yourself. See, that's a piece that doesn't get talked about enough. And I don't, it's something because a lot of us were brought up where the phrase that the customer is always right. And no, the customer isn't always right. That's one of the biggest fallacies out there. Now, the customer is not always wrong. Absolutely. You have to look at that too, because there's some people that forget about that part. But you need to learn to look at the situation objectively. And the most important thing is do the best you can on the front end. I'm a big fan of over-educate your clients. Over-educate them to the point where they're just like, okay, I don't need more information. And that's usually when you say, that's okay, I'm going to tell you anyway. And you kind of laugh about it. You have fun with it. But I've always been a big fan of that because I never want my clients to come to me and feel like I didn't tell them enough or I didn't give them enough information. I want to make sure that I educated them the best I could so they completely understand the situation. That way we eliminate things like that ever happening. But sometimes it still does. And sometimes if we drop the ball, we screw up, we forget something, whatever, take responsibility for it, fix it. And say, hey, you know what? This is cool. I got this. Or I'm sorry, I screwed up. I'm going to make it better, make it right. Okay. But don't forget about yourself and your integrity with yourself, your business, your employees. If you are 100% in there, don't cower down. because there's people that do that. I see that all the time. And next thing you know, they lose their own confidence. And that's when they start hating their business. And I've been there before. I've had times where I was dealing with clients that were just horrible, and I put up with them because they were still paying the bills. And you don't want to be there. You don't want to get abused by your clients. And you should never be in that situation. If you do the first part right, you attract a whole lot less of the second part. And the beauty of it is you become more confident in the fact that you can tell a lot of times where those people will come from, and you can avoid them from the get-go, that's a much better place to be. So keep in integrity in all things. Do the best you can. If you make a mistake, own up to it. That's fine. Fix it. But also don't forget, on the flip side, if you didn't, and you did everything the way you should, do the best you can to educate somebody so they understand that you did what you should have done. You did things in the right way. And if they're still not happy, just learn to walk away, because you have to keep your own integrity within yourself just as much as you need to do for your clients. Because if you don't, you'll start hating your business. You'll start hating the things that you do, and you'll lose your confidence. You'll lose your ability to stand up for yourself. And you don't want to be in that place. So there's your thoughts for the day. Hopefully this is helpful for you. If you have any thoughts on this, I'd love to hear them. Feel free, if you want to publicly comment on this, that's awesome. If you want to shoot me a private message, if for some reason you don't want to talk about it publicly, that's okay too. Love to help you out any way I can. Get out there, have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you later. Take care. And that wraps up another Meet Cool People show. Now, if you like what you heard, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, or review so I can help introduce these amazing cool people to even more amazing cool people. And just remember, meeting cool people is just the beginning. You need to have a system in place to follow up with the amazing people that you meet. This is exactly what we do for our clients. Now, if you'd like to see if my team and I can help you, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and check out the case study video to see exactly how we're helping our clients turn casual connections into cash clients for life. Again, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and see how we can work together to turn you into a follow-up rock star.